There we go. All right, well, we'll do the warm-up bit in standing. Oh, so I've got my woolly socks on. Never mind, I'll leave them on now. Find your good parallel hip width position through the feet. And start lengthening your spine. So think about engagement between those hip bones at the front as you lengthen your tailbone down towards the mat. Good. Soften the knees, make sure you're not locking them out with that engaged center, and then think about your rib cage, its connection with your pelvic bones at the front there, so that when you take your deeper breaths, we're looking to breathe it out into these lower ribs, out to the sides. So start some deeper breaths in your nose, and then out your mouth. Good. As you breathe in, open out. Settling your shoulders with each out breath. Try and just sink them. Keeping them open through their fronts. Start lengthening the back of your neck. Growing tall through the crown of your head. Lovely. Now we'll in-breath and arm up. Out breath, little knee bend and come over into a side bend. Supporting yourself or not if you don't need to, breathe in. And then out breath back up. Good. So changing sides, in breath up. So if you don't need to support yourself, you'll use your center more. Just keep that engagement when you're having your breath in your side bend there. Do one more to each side like that. Straight forward, standing mermaids. Opening up those side ribs. Really sending the breath out to here. And come back up. So we'll add some circles to that. So once you're over in your next side bend, you can support yourself lightly if you need to. As you start circling, watch that arm go around. Try and stay over, bent at the waist. And rotate through your upper back now as you watch the arm change direction, watch it go the other way. So not just shoulder movement, try and get the whole upper back involved. One more circle. Good, and then we'll come back to standing. Lovely, same to the other side, in breath up. Good, over, rest that hand lightly while you circle around, watching. Create as much movement as you can through the upper body, keeping your lower body still and steady. After this circle, let's just reverse them. Finishing up with this one. Coming back up. Lovely, and take your hands to your pelvis. Just settle your shoulders down again. Make sure that they're not creeping up to your ears. Send your shoulder blades into your back pockets. And we'll try just shifting the upper body across. So sideways movement. It's all about moving through the upper body. Keep the weight equal between both feet. So the lower body doesn't shift. So your upper body is a block sliding across the lower body. And then if you want to bring the arms in, you can. They're overhead, but the shoulder tops are down. Do the same slide, but reach high through the fingertips on that side you sit towards. Then back. Slide again, other way. So you can add the breath in to increase the stretch. So you've slid across and breathe in while you're there. And then back. Slide and reach, breathe in. One more to each side. And rest. Good. Arms up to shoulder height. Our last one, we're going to open up through the fronts of the shoulders. So drop the shoulders down. Keep the tailbone magneting down to your mat. Open up through the fronts of the shoulders, elevating the center of your chest to the ceiling and lower. So just try and get that extension into your upper back, between your shoulder blades. That's where extending, so that the tailbone stays down and you're not throwing yourself back into your low back. Good, one more. And then rest down. Good, all right, let's bring it down to the mat. We'll start with hip twist for mobilizing. So you want to be in your rest position on the mat. Good, just bring the feet to comfortable distance, hip width. Find your neutral spine, so have your little tip and tilt until you feel like your pubic bone and your belly button are level with each other. Lovely. Rest on your shoulder blades, open through the fronts of the shoulders, lengthen the back of your neck. Arms are light beside you. Okay, now we're going to slide those arms out to shoulder height or just below. Bring the ankles into each other and the knees. So we can start moving. On the out breath, roll both knees over. So allow the whole pelvis to roll, one foot on top of the other. You can look towards the opposite hand for a full twist. Breathe in. Out breath back up, lifting the weight of the legs back up. So start moving on every out breath. Pausing while you breathe in and stretch. Out breath back up again. Good. Just try and notice if one side feels stiffer than the other. You might find that your knees go lower to one side. You've got more movement in that direction. So if that's the case, then focus on the other side, really trying to gain some movement if possible. We're not all symmetrical, so it's normal. Good. Now breath back up again. Okay, bring the arms back down alongside, bring the feet back to hip width. Just recenter, check in with your position. So we're going to do hundreds. It's all about maintaining this position. Okay, so this is our main strengthening, main abdominal strengthening one for this session. So you can bring up into tabletop if you want to, or just one leg tabletop, up to you. But maintain this lovely flatness here, but the space behind your low back. Arms float up alongside. You can, if you want to, also draw your head and shoulders off the mat. Drawing those ribs towards the hips. Good, and then start pulsing your arms. So this is our hundreds, level 4 here. There's lots going on. And if you want to take one of the other ones back, you can. At any point, rest your head down or rest one of your feet down. Make sure your back stays steady. Up the nose, out the mouth. Focusing on your breathing, your pelvic floor, your position. Everything's really still apart from your shoulders. Just keep looking between those thighs if you've lifted your head up. Imagine that you're holding a peach under your chin. You're starting to get tired, remind your pelvic floor that it's needed. So draw up through your bladder control muscles. You'll feel the extra engagement here below your belly button. Nearly there. Let's do these last ones. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest down. Good. Bring your feet back to the mat. Okay, So we'll do some overhead arms. If you normally use weights in your hands, just small weights you can for overhead arms, or just the weight of your arms. Before you do, just let your head have a little turn from side to side. With the back of the head just rolling over your support. Make sure any tension in your neck eases out before we start lifting the arms. Okay, and then when you're ready, out breath them up, fingertips to the ceiling. So we're going to focus here on the rib cage position. So just settle the ribs down, just keep them connected at the front, soften them into the mat behind, and try and maintain that as you slowly let your arms come up overhead. In breath back. So real stillness through the whole body below the level of these shoulder joints. It's just the shoulder joints moving, stretching and opening. Good. And then we're going to add to it. So we'll start adding the heel slide. So with the next movement, one heel away. Lovely, keep going for a couple more. Have a think about whether you'll want to do another set like this, or maybe bring your legs up into tabletop. So let the arms rest down for a little breather. If you want to, bring the legs up. You can work with them still, just again, maintaining your static low body position while you work on arms. Here. With each out breath, the arms come up overhead. Or you can take it to level 3 where we push away. One foot pushes away. In breath back. Good. Sending the heel high towards the top of the opposite wall. Or if you're challenging yourself more and you can maintain neutral spine without any straining, without any doming in your abdominals, you can send the leg lower, more parallel to the mat. Keep going for just a few more. One to each leg. And then rest down. Good. Okay. So we take it to some shoulder bridges. Remove your head support. Just bring your heels closer to your bottom. Check you've got that space overhead, because we'll add overhead arms into the shoulder bridges in a minute. We'll start off with some for glutes though. So leave your arms just light on the mat. Start in neutral and then tip back and peel up. Working your way up through your thoracic spine so you really feel that segmental movement. Check on the backs of your shoulders. And then out breath back down, dipping from the breastbone. Up to neutral. Good. And let's work on a little bit of glutes first. Working towards your one leg bridge. So coming up onto the tiptoes on one foot and then straightening out of the knee. See if you can, with pressure through the other heel, straighten that leg right out and still keep the pelvis level. Keep the arms light. They're on the mat supporting you, but you don't push through them. Good. If you need a break, then come down between sides. Give yourself a reset Or keep going if you can. Just for a couple more. One more to each leg. Super. Reset. So for our next lot, we can do them with the arms pointing towards the ceiling and add that overhead arms in. So again, check you're on your shoulder blades with fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. Tip back into your low back, peel up your first shoulder bridge here. And we'll add the overhead arms. See if you can touch them down to the mat behind. All the way back. Just keep those fingertips pointing to the ceiling and work on lifting overhead. Have a breath with them overhead and get that extra stretch. Good. So we just do one more, then leave the arms on the mat behind you if you can. So once they're overhead, have a breath in. And as you let the breath out, replace your spine, leaving the arms resting on the mat there. Take it gently. See if you can still put the spine back level by level until you're in neutral with your pelvic floor engaged. Lift the arms back up and over. Good. All right. So onto our sides, we'll just do one lot of hip exercises. We'll do some clam. Have your bigger cushion handy if you've got one, so that we can take it to level 3 for the second set clam if you want to. We'll start here with the knees bent. Make sure that you're long through your waist. A little space underneath and long through that top side. Lifting the ankles up, keep the heels together. First set, out breath up. In breath down. To this first set, let's add the knee extension. While we've still got both legs bent, we can do that. So once the knee is high, straighten it out. Good. Making sure you don't roll back. Keep that top hip pointing straight up at the ceiling. Good. 4 more like this, if you can. Last 2, careful not to roll back, keep that hip forward. Top shoulder nice and relaxed. Last one. And then rest down. All right, you can do a second set like that at level 2 with both knees bent, or try straightening this lower leg out. So you want that second cushion if you do that to rest your knee on. Hips are still stacked, still long through your waist. And then when you're ready, out breath up. Opening up that hip in just the same way. Working even harder on your control now. Out breath. And that's it. 4 more if you can. Lovely, last 2. And rest. Good. with that top knee hugging. So once it's had a little stretch, we'll come to our arm openings. Change your head support just so that you can bring your arm out in front. That's it. So if you want to start getting the motion of rotating through the upper back nicely first, it's good to do that tracing along the lower arm version across your chest, dropping your back ribs back, centre of the chest up, breathing in to stretch, and then coming back. Just to make sure it's not a shoulder stretch, it's an upper back stretch. Keep the knees down, hips stacked, that lower body position locked in. And then when you've got that motion, add your full arc, watching the hand go up overhead. Same action through your spine. The weight of the arm helps over press while you breathe in. Out breath back. Really engage your center as you come back. So you're lifting the weight of your upper body. Support your spine while you do. And I'll just give you a reminder of that level 2 version. If you've got space for this, your top hand is at shoulder height and you sweep it up overhead. So it stays at shoulder height. You come all the way around in a semicircle overhead. So that same stretch, but then back via the hip. And just continue your circles around. Out breathing the top half of the circle, hip stays forward. Don't roll back through the lower body. In breath back. Whichever version you're doing, do one more. Good, and then rest. We'll have a sit up just to do some spine twists. Legs crossed or kneeling or sitting however you're comfortable. But just make sure that you're sitting down through both sides of your pelvis equally, so you're not off to one side like this. Good. Okay. Start with the arms low, have them across the chest. Center engaged, keeping your low body still while you move through your upper body. So that rotation again, the upper back twisting, lower body staying still, breathing into stretch, and then back to center. Good, another one to each side like that. Lovely. Let's bring it up a bit higher, a bit further up the back. The arms are at shoulder height, drop your shoulders down, keep the back of the neck long, and twist. Slight push forward through that hip you're twisting towards. And then back. Good. And for our last two, fingertips high, elbows high and wide, shoulders down, and go again. Lovely. And then rest. Okay. While we're here, let's do some mermaids in sitting, and you can leave your legs crossed just like that, or if your hips will allow, can't see my legs, just take them to the side. Still aiming to get your pelvis level. Good, okay. And we'll bring one arm up and have a bend away from that side. Nice and light on this hand, but keeping that hip down as well. And up again. So you can go to the other side. Legs stay the same, but we'll go to the other side. Good. Now let's switch the legs. That's it, settle in, support that side. If it is rising up a bit, just pop something underneath it or try and settle it down. Lovely. Let's go again. In breath up. Moving on your out breath. Breathing in. Remember, open up these side ribs as you breathe in. And then come back. One last one. Good. And we're all ready to come down to our other side for clam to start with. All right, so we're starting in that level 2 position, both legs bent, but we'll add the knee extension. So check your neck's nice and long, shoulders are open, waist is long, even as you lift your ankles up. When you're ready then, out breath up and straight. Last 4. Last 2. And take a little rest. Maybe bring in a cushion if you've got one that you can use. Straighten the legs out, but then bring that top one up. Okay, another set of 8. Breathing it open, squeezing into the back of the hip. In, breathing controlled, lower from the hip. The hip position here, or the pelvic position, doesn't change. They stay stacked. You're not rolling forward as you lower, and you don't roll back as you lift. Good, you're halfway. 4 more. That's it, last one. And rest down. Good, that's our hips done then. So a little hug in, give it a stretch. And then we'll position for arm openings. All right, so good position through the low body that you just keep locked in. Change your arm position. Make sure that shoulder that you're resting on isn't bunched up towards your ear, just draw it away. And if it's helpful, start with some of like drawing the bow, getting your rotation going. And when you've got that motion, then start arcing up and over. Hip stays forward though. Good. Centre of the chest to the ceiling. And if you're wanting to do some sweeping up overhead, you can. All the way around in a full circle. Still getting that pointed stretch there before you come back via the hip. Last one. And rest. Good. So if we take it onto our tummies next, so give yourself some head support for your forehead. Lower yourself down. We start with breaststroke. So arms are alongside the body. Let the shoulders drop forward. Lengthen through your spine. Keep your head resting down to start with. Out breath open through the fronts of the shoulders. Hover the arms up. Keep those shoulder blades sliding down your back. And then lower back down again. So get the arm and the shoulder movement first. Get that right. Fingertips are really reaching towards your heels. And then if you want to add to it, your forehead hover, you can lift by extending through your upper back. Good. Make sure you're not clenching your bottom. This isn't a glutes exercise. Keep that soft. Keep your legs heavy on the mat. The feet shouldn't be floating up. The lift is from the shoulder blade area of your back. Opening up into that side ribs on both sides as you're in your lift. You're holding the position, you're breathing in, and then lowering. We'll just do one more. And then rest. Good. On to swan dive, so that you rest your head on your hands this time. We'll try adding a twist to swan dive. Just re-lengthen. Make sure that your tailbone is tucked in between your legs. Shoulders are away from your ears, and the back of the neck's long as well. And we'll start with just floating the head up off the hands. Getting that upper back, extending, lifting, breathing in. And then lower. Breath in there. Again, focusing on it being an upper back, lower body stays soft and heavy. Just your pelvic floor engaging, that's what's working deep in your pelvis. And then if you want to add to this, you could bring one hand up with your head. So one hand stays down, one comes with the head, and then you can twist to open before you go back down again. Other sides, we're alternating. Other hand, twist towards that side, and then lower. Make sure the pelvis stays level. Again, it's all in the upper back. One more to each side, or you're straight forward Swan dives if you prefer. And rest. Okay, let's bring it up into 4-point kneel. We'll finish off here with some cat stretches and then threading the needle. So draw your shoulders away from your ears, make sure your back is neutral. Have a breath in and then out breath to stick your tailbone out behind you. So dip into your whole spine, keep your shoulders away from your ears, you can look forward though. And then reverse it by tucking under. Tailbone tucks, back arches towards the ceiling, you look between your thighs and breathe in. And here you can alternate. As you breathe out, move. As you stay, breathe in. Good. After this one, just come back to neutral. Just come back to halfway. So you can take one hand to pass through. Or you can do repeated, or you can stay. You can just have one breath in and then come back. Or if it feels nice to stretch, you can rest your head down with your arm passed through. Whatever feels better. Make this one your last. And then bring it back so that you can sit. However you're comfortable sitting. So it's just an upper body stretch. So you just want to be comfortable through your low body. And we'll link the hands in front. And look down, stretching the back of the neck. Keep looking down when you out breath, your arms up. Then push the backs of your hands forward to separate your shoulder blades, stretch in between them. And now lift them up. Up overhead, watch them go. You can look at them now. Sending your center of chest high. And then separate your arms and bring them all the way around. So you can link them behind you, press them away. Breathe in. And then lift them away from your bottom. One more stretch. And release. And we'll do it again, but pressing the hands away if your shoulders are okay with that. Otherwise, just the same. Breath them up. Turn them so the palms press away. Keep your chin down. Breathe in as you separate those shoulder blades. Now lift them up. Watch them go up overhead. Good. Breathe in at the top. Separate them. Bring them all the way around. Link and push away. One last lift. And release. Well done.